Okay, I've had more than a few sleepless nights sucking in as much information as I can from the new Z6, Z7 mirrorless cameras. In addition to which, I've been contacted by a few prominent YouTubers telling me their own off-video personal information. They all basically say the same thing. What sort of crack was Nikon smoking and what was it laced with? Let's go over some real facts, not hyperbole, personal opinions. Well, maybe a couple of these points could be, but let's look at the Z6, Z7. Let's also talk about some of the things that Nikon does not want you to know. Actually, I was contacted by 4 prominent YouTubers, 4 of them. Price point on the Z6, $2,000 and $3,400 respectively. On the Z7, too high for what they are. Bad battery life, SEPA rated 330 shots. They take EN-EL15, or specifically the EN-EL15B battery with a different discharge profile. Poor raw buffer, 18/23 shot buffer, and only 12 bits compressed raw. There is no eye autofocus. There's only face detect focus, and that has been proven to be less than good. Less than good. Demonstrable results showing less than good. 1 card slot, epic lame BS. Nikon is going to lose a tremendous amount of potential Z6, Z7 sales. A tremendous amount. Also, we've got some important information at the end of this I wanted to tell you by a person on the inside, which is not surprising, but should be maybe shocking to you. Only 5.5 frames per second with auto exposure. Oh, by the way, I forgot. There's a 5th prominent YouTuber that contacted me about this, and you all love him. I'm not going to mention his name. He said that's absolutely ridiculous. He even left a comment in my last Nikon Z6, Z7 evaluation. 10 to 15 minute video record time per battery. You've seen some of the horrific bokeh out of the 35mm 1.8 lens. Absolutely horrific. Actually, the worst I've ever seen in my life. Onion ring bokeh out of the 35 1.8. I believe it was. I don't believe it was 35 1.8 or the 50 1.8. $250 for the adapter with no D-series autofocus capability. You do get it $100 off if you buy the camera, so they're not including it for free, so it's $150 if you buy a camera. No D-series compatibility for autofocus. They're compatible with focus peaking, means you have to manually focus the lenses. The new lenses look cheap and junky as hell, but that's not specifically pertainable to the Z6 and Z7 cameras. I've already heard several reports from pre-release testers that the autofocus is, well, let's say less than impressive. The card door, as someone that repairs cameras, I can tell you for a fact the fact that the card door actually snaps out and then spring latches open to access the 1 XQD card slot. The fact that all the back pressure, we actually place all your pressure on the tiny bit of the rear of the camera, you're actually able to grip it with your thumb and part of the pad of your hand. That's actually a bad design flaw. The fact that that actually pops out and pops open, you can apply a lot of torque, those doors are going to be failing at a high rate. That's definitely a design flaw. That's not my opinion, that's a fact. I've seen 2 video examples of the EVF while taking shots. It has the worst blackout between shots I've ever seen. Even Sony's early A7 II cameras were not that bad. Really, really bad blackout, excuse me. Yeah, 5 YouTubers, well 6 in total. 4 were prominent YouTubers contacted me, and every one of them has been bitching. You know, do you think I'm being too critical? You know, the fact that even Froboy and Tony Boy are like, what the hell were you smoking, Nikon? What, you know, what did you have in your crack pipe and what were you smoking? All the prominent YouTubers have been saying the same damn thing. So, you accuse me of being too critical? No. Also, there have been some, Nikon actually had a press junket hype fest of BS for their latest turd muffin cameras, where people were able to test them. They were already multiple people reporting back, not only blackout and EVF between shots, bad blackout, less than desirable autofocus. Multiple complaints about inferior face detect. It doesn't even have eye detect, but even the face detect doesn't work that well. Oh, yeah, the important thing I actually wanted to mention at the end of this video is a prominent insider is telling me that Nikon is actually in damage control because so many people are reporting what There's a tremendous amount of people, including prominent people, not only on YouTube but elsewhere, that are basically telling everybody, you know, this camera's a joke. You know, for this price point with a single card slot with bad blackout between shots and less than really good autofocus performance, you know, Nikon is absolutely crazy. Nikon is in damage control mode. Also, too, he's actually, my buddy who's on the inside says he's extremely pissed at the fact that all these people for all these years that have been bitching and complaining about how important it is to have card redundancy, all of a sudden are saying, why? Well, one card is good enough. Also, too, there's a huge lie people reporting. People say, well, XQD cards are more reliable. Well, they are more physically sturdy, but the actual manner in which the data is written to the XQD cards is no more reliable than the manner in which the data is written to SD cards. While they're physically stronger, you know, that's the type of reliability. The actual manner in which the information is offloaded and onloaded, uploaded and stored on the XQD media cards is no way superior to that of good working or reliable, say, SanDisk SD media cards. So all that nonsense I keep hearing from people is absolute rubbish and nonsense. Also, too, specifically, I've had a lot of people, you know, that are thinking that, well, maybe Nikon's going to have a magical second slot appear, maybe like in the vertical grip. Let me tell you what, that's absolutely impossible. Unicorns will fly out of your butt before that happens, and the reason for that is that the SD card slot must be soldered onto the main board. Okay? The notion of connecting an extraneous media card slot, you know, in some sort of attachable accessory or whatnot, it's never going to happen, girlfriend. The single card slot, the XQD card slot that's on this, that's all there's going to be on that. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, and that's basically a dozen points for why the X7 and X6 are a failure. You know, don't accuse me of complaining. And also, too, people say, well, you're a big Nikon fan. You even got Nikon tattooed on your hand. So what? I don't carry water for any of these companies. What good does it serve me, or specifically serve you, if I'm a pathetic Nikon fanboy shill monkey? Oh, God, it's a Nikon. It must be wonderful. Everybody should go out and buy one. That's no good for me. That's propaganda talk. Remember that character from Lord of the Rings called the Mouth of Sauron? It's like whatever the eye wanted people to believe. They actually edited that clip out of the movie. It's called the Eye of Sauron, no, the Mouth of Sauron, where you actually just repeat propaganda and BS and hype. This is the stuff that Nikon doesn't want you to know. And also the fact that 5.5 frames per second auto exposure, that it drops to that in auto exposure, that's bad. That's bad. You failed, Nikon. Thanks so much for watching. If you like these videos, click the link below. Tell me to jump off a cliff, whatever makes you happy. Goodbye.